Hello there, people of the internet. I'm CJ the Prop Maker and welcome back to another video. Now, those of you who have been following my channel for a while will know that one of the things I enjoy doing is to create prop weapons, either for costume accessories or for theatre purposes or decoration or what have you. Particularly very detailed ones like this pirate's hangar right here. And as many people will tell you, the key detail in a cool and realistic looking prop sword is the edge, which, as you can see here, is defined by a lighter metallic color along the edge in contrast with the darker color of the spine of the blade. But another part of that, apart from the paint job, is the shape of the blade. As you can see, I've got a nice edge bevel going on this one, and that's the topic of this video. If you ask 5 different prop makers how they put edges on their prop swords, you're probably going to get 5 different answers. This little tool here is what I use to put edges on my prop swords. The concept of this tool is quite simple. Here we have one of the pieces of wood that I really like making swords out of. It's pine cover slip, the kind of stuff you would find being sold at hardware shops for roofing. And what I like to do is, once I've got the blade shape roughed into the wood, I then take this tool and I run it along the edge, and as you can see, it's got holes in it so that I can get my marker in there, and I choose my hole, and depending on how steep I want my edge to be, I select which hole I want to use and I draw along there in a perfectly straight line along the edge thanks to this tool. I've used this technique with other materials too, like foam, as is the case with this Witcher-inspired foam sword here. Don't know how well you can see, but the edges are nicely defined. I should actually point out that I didn't come up with this tool on my own. I got this idea for this tool when I saw Michael Cthulhu of Big Giant Swords using a similar tool for a similar purpose on his swords. So yeah, it's not really an original idea on my part, but to be honest, I don't think Irish Mike minds that much, and if he does, please don't hurt me. But anyway, I just thought I would share my secret with you, and I thought I would show you how I made this little tool. So the first thing you're going to need is some square gutter stock plastic, or any other kind of plastic that has this sharp corner angle, which I don't know if you can find in every hardware shop, but if you're going to find square gutter piping, the hardware shop is probably where you're going to find it, or maybe the plumbing store. Somewhere that sells gutter pipes will probably stock this stuff. Otherwise, you can use any other plastic that has a sharp right angle in it, or even you can use metal if you like. But I'm going to use plastic simply because it's easier to work with for the sake of the video. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave a little lip here, just enough for it to catch hold of whatever you're drawing the edge on. And we are going to use the long part here for where our holes are going to go. Okay, as you can see, I've drawn a line here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go and we're going to cut this off, and then this is what you should wind up with. A little L-shaped piece of the plastic. And just so that we're clear, this one is not as long as the one I was showing earlier. This is just because I've already got one of these tools, so this is going to be like my small little backup tool. But what we're going to do next, we're going to take a measuring tape, and we are going to take our little piece of plastic here, and we're also going to take a screwdriver or an awl or whatever you have. I'm going to use this broken off piece from a nail clipper. And what I'm going to do is rest your piece of plastic down like that on the edge of a table so you can measure accurately. And then from when the plastic starts, from the little lip, measure 1 centimeter and gouge a little mark into the plastic. And then measure another centimeter and do the same. Measure another centimeter and do the same. So now we should have 3 marks like that. And now what we're going to do is these marks are going to be the pilots for our drill. So I'm going to take you over to the garage now and I'm going to show you the next part of this process. So we are now in the garage and the safety kit has gone on because safety always matters. And we're going to take the trusty old drill. Now the drill bit you select should at least be big enough to accommodate a pen if that's what you use, or a marker if that's what you prefer. I'm going to use one that's big enough to accommodate my markers because that is what I commonly use when I make wooden prop swords to define the edges. And we're going to clamp the little piece of plastic in the vise here. Clamp it nice and tight. You don't need to worry too much about protecting the sides here because we're going to come back and fix that just now. And now we're going to start drilling. I'm going to set the drill bit down in the little divots we created earlier, and I'm going to drill downwards. You can drill sideways if you want to, but I find drilling downwards to work better. There we have it. We have our 3 holes drilled, and these holes are easily big enough to accommodate the markers I like to use. But as I said, if you prefer to use a pen or a Sharpie or what have you, then you can make your holes smaller. This is just going to be easier for me. Now we could stop the process here, but I like my tools to be a bit neater than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up a little with the good old trusty belt sander. You can use regular sandpaper too. I'm just really lazy at the moment. So I'm going to turn on the belt sander and get to work. There we go. Needs a bit more cleaning up, so I'm going to go to the kitchen sink and give it a bit of a scrub with the sponge, get all these extra bits of plastic off it, and I'll see you back in the room. And here we have the finished product. Nice, clean, freshly made edge defining tool with 3 markers at 1, 2 and 3 centimeters. Now the next part, I recommend that you find yourself a key ring, and I recommend that you simply fit it onto the key ring so that you don't lose it. I'm gonna fit this one on here. Whoops, I dropped it. But it's on right next to my main one, just so that you don't lose it, and then you can slot that onto your keys. And there you have it. This has been my way of making a tool to define the edges on your prop swords. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've been CJ the Prop Maker. If you liked it, slash that like button right down the middle, and I will see you in the next one.